Hi guys, once again, let us discuss this next question that we have. It says a current of 1 milliampere flows through a wire made of a piece of copper and a piece of iron of identical cross sections, welded end to end, as you can see in the figure. So the question is how much electrical charge accumulates at the boundary between the two metals, and how many elementary charges does this correspond to? Okay. Uh, First of all, the question is exactly why there should be accumulation of charges. For that case, consider that we assume that the current for the moment, let's call it as I. So I'm denoting the current flowing in the wire as I. Let us say A be the area of cross section. And the resistivities of the two metals, let's call them as rho of Cu and rho of Fe, whose values are approximately known. The resistivity of the iron, it is approximately 97 nano ohms meter, while that of copper is approximately 17 nano ohms meter. These values we should work with. In this case, the current is given to be 1 milliampere. Now the point is what? If I consider the resistance for a cylindrical wire, the resistance is known to be the resistivity into L upon A being area actually. And therefore, if I use the Ohm's law, V equal to IR, this can be written down as V equal to I into resistance is rho L by A. Now, V is, V by L, V by the length actually. V by length being the electric field, and I by A we can call it as a current density. So we find in this case that the electric field within the current carrying conductor, cylindrical conductor, is resistivity multiplied by the current density, which are denoted as G. Now in this case, because the current densities are equal, because the currents are equal in both the wires, and in steady state whatever current comes in must go out, so the currents are equal and the areas are equal as well. That indicates therefore that the current densities are equal. So the electric field must be different actually, because therefore we should have, because resistivities are different, so electric field is going to be different. So we know the electric field in the copper, we can just draw a couple of field lines. The electric field, in fact resistivity for copper is smaller, so electric field must be smaller as well. So I can draw a few field lines. They will be, for example, in copper, the field lines will look like, let's say draw 4 lines. It will be uniform field. But on the other side, in the iron, the field will be a bit stronger because the resistivity is higher as well. So at the boundary, what's happening is there's accumulation of charge because on the two sides the fields are different, and by the nature of it, because in this case the field is pointing, find that there has to be positive charge accumulated at the interface. Now to obtain this charge, we can actually utilize the Gauss law. We can consider a Gaussian surface which is in the shape of a box whose cross section is exactly equal to the irons, these two wires cross section actually. And We could look at the fluxes. The flux, for example, if we draw the Gaussian surface as by this, say, for example, the blue, it's almost a cuboidal shape, which is like this. The front face, the back face, the top and the bottom, they don't contribute anything to the fluxes because the fields are, I mean, parallel to the surface and the area vector is normal to it. So whatever field contribution comes from is on the left face and the right face. The left face of flux is negative, the right face of flux is positive. So we could actually write down minus electric field in the copper region into the area, that's the flux for the left part, plus electric field in the um, iron region into the area. This, according to Gauss theorem, should be equal to the charge enclosed, which I'm looking for, by epsilon naught. Now we could consider in this case, or I can see from this equation itself, that multiplying the area gives us E into A as rho into I actually. So the same equation I wrote down again. This will give us therefore electric field in the area for the iron gives us resistivity of iron into the current minus resistivity of copper into the current should be equal to Q enclosed upon epsilon naught, which gives therefore the charge enclosed as epsilon naught into the current into resistivity of iron minus that of copper. Now if you plug the numbers, epsilon naught is around 8.85 into 10 power minus 12 in SI units, farad per meter. The current is given to be 1 milliampere, so 110 power minus 3 amperes. Resistivity we have been given 97 minus 17 nano ohm meter, so that will be 10 power minus 9 ohm meter. This gives us the calculation gives this Q enclosed approximately as around 7 into 10 to the power minus 22 coulombs, which we can verify quickly. 8.85 into 97 minus 17, that becomes 80, and then multiplied by the powers are 10 power minus 24 in this case. That does give us around 7.1 10 power minus 22, so that's fine. It gives us this much. And interestingly, if we, this is quite small charge by the way. If you notice in this case, the charge is actually less than the elementary charge. If we compare with that of the elementary charge, which is around 1.6 10 power minus 19 coulomb, that will give us how many electron? It actually gives us roughly it's around 7 10 power minus 22 upon 10 power minus 1.6 10 power minus 19, so roughly that will give us how much? Around 5 in numerator, so that will be approximately so if I take as 1.6 approximately 1.4 and then multiply with 10, so I need to divide with 10 power minus 21 by, so it's giving us approximately 1 by 200. I believe that is so. Very roughly, if I calculate, it's 7 10 power minus 22 divided by 1.6 minus 19, that gives us around well, it's around 7 by 1600 it is, so that's roughly, very roughly 1 by 200. But the point is that it is very small. In fact, fraction of the elementary charge. How is even that possible? What about charge quantization, for example? It turns out in this case, this is though you can see that a measurable macroscopic current around 1 milliampere flows through the wire, yet the accumulated charge is only a small proportion of the microscopic elementary charge. This very strange behavior, actually, this is a strange result rather. It shows that the classical electrodynamics that we know of, which imagine charge carriers to be like tiny particles, tiny billiard balls, for example, that cannot always correctly describe the electrical phenomena, at least this one over there. So the point is that this can only be explained by application of some more the sophisticated laws that we have in quantum mechanics and statistical physics. That is the one which will give us a bit more correct description. Okay, so that we shall obviously not take it right now, but maybe a bit later. Okay, so that is what we have. Thank you for watching this video again, and we shall be coming up with a more solution soon enough. Till then, take care.